Alright, I know it's been a while, but this is, we're back. I was off for a month and some time, but we're back. Today's special music review is obviously, we're going to be doing a special tribute to the great DMX. As most of you, for those who do not know, sadly, last week, Friday, April 9th, hip hop took another devastating loss with the death of another hip hop legend coming out of Yonkers, New York, Darkman X, Earl Simmons, better known to his fans and everyone as DMX. Sadly, DMX passed away at the age of 50 on Friday, April 9th. It was a sad day, so today we're just going to be discussing X, his career, his music. So as you can see, pictured right here is one of 7 covers of the source that DMX graced throughout his career. This was actually one of 2 split covers for the February 2000 cover of the source, for those who may not be able to see, but this is DMX and the Rough Riders on the second cover. First cover featured DMX. This cover right here was for 2 occasions. The first cover was X on it promoting his third album, and then there was X, and then this cover is the Rough Riders and the Cash Money going on tour together. So DMX was one of the one of the roughest rappers that I grew up listening to. DMX's first album, It's Dark and Was in Hell Is Hot, came out in May of '98. Spawned 5 singles: Get At Me Dog, Rough Riders Anthem, Stop Being Greedy, How's It Going Down, and it's such a classic album. There was appearances from Mace, The Lox, other Rough Rider artists. That same year, '98, X would put out his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, released December of '98, 7 months after his first debut album. Spawned the singles Slippin' and No Love For Me. Mad appearances from The Lox, Jay-Z, Mary J. Blige, Marilyn Manson. DMX was the second artist to have 2 albums released in 1 year. In '98, first was Tupac in '96. So both albums from X debuted at number 1. Then X would follow on tour with Jay-Z in April of '99, the Hard Knock Life tour. He would go on tour to promote the albums, and then of course supposed to be a super group. It was a super group originally planned, intended, called Murder Inc., which consisted of Ja Rule, Jay-Z, and DMX. However, the group never happened, but they did collaborate on a few tracks together. One of them was Murdergram in '98, which appeared on the Jay-Z soundtrack Streets Is Watching. And then another one was It's Murda, which was on Ja Rule's debut album, Veni Vidi Vici, released in June of '99. They also collaborated on each other's albums, Hard Knock Life, Veni Vidi Vici. So it was that simple. Then X had a movie career, the acting debut of Belly, co-starring Nas, Method Man, and T-Boz of TLC. And then after that, went on tour, dropped another album, and then there was X December '99. Spawned singles What They Want featuring Cisco, What's My Name, and Party Up in Here. Then after that, he did another movie, Romeo Must Die, with the late great Aaliyah, rest in peace. And then X did some time. He started going back to working on his new album. He worked on his new album, The Great Depression, which dropped the following year, October 2001. In between that, he did another movie, Exit Wounds, him and Steven Seagal. So, So, and then he went on to release The Great Depression in October of 2001, spawned three hit singles: Who We Be, I Miss You, featuring Faith Evans, and We Right Here. Now I Miss You was a second time X and Faith collaborated together. The other time they collaborated was back in '98 for How's It Going Down off It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. So the first three albums, those are three of my favorite. My three favorite DMX albums are It's Dark and Hell Is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, and then there was X. Those are my three favorite that sit in my top 100 hip hop albums of all time. I do like the other album, The Great Depression, which is a fire album, and then Grand Champ, which was his fifth album to debut at number one on the charts. But that spawned the singles Where the Hood At, Get It on the Floor. Also, he did another movie in between the album, recording the album. He went on to do Cradle to the Grave with Jet Li, which was the second time him and Jet Li had collaborated together. Jet Li and DMX previously worked on Romeo Must Die with Aaliyah back in 2000. So, X was, you know, X did live a troubled, did have go through a difficult childhood, from his drug habit, his grandma, But like I said, I'm gonna just start throwing out random DMX songs. First one is Who We Be. Who We Be was the second single off The Great Depression in 2001. One of the hardest tracks ever recorded, I would say, without question. The whole album, The Great Depression, that was, another fire album from X. So I give it a scale of 1 to 10. I would give that album an 8. It was one of the best albums. So one of X's good albums. So DMX was one of the most powerful laments of the condition of black man in America to put to music. What I liked, DMX did not make songs. He made timeless anthems. And when I mean timeless anthems, I throw out random hits. What's My Name? Rough Riders Anthem. How's It Going Down? Get At Me Dog. Stop Being Greedy. Slippin'. Party Up in Here. What They Really Want featuring Cisco. So that's what X did. X just had, I just want to say, DMX, thank you for your wonderful music, your great lyricism, your great performances, your live shows that you did. You had the crowds moving and pumping, especially at that Woodstock show in '99 when you had everyone yelling, "Stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop." It's still, we're day 4. It's still hard to believe that X is gone. I grew up listening to DMX around my dad as a child, and throughout the years, he was DMX was literally one of the hardest hardcore artists I ever listened to. X was at his poetic, hard-hitting, and real. The quintessential street anthems, such Rough Riders Anthem. I would say that is a street anthem right there. You literally, on his music, you could hear his pain in his voice and that effortless flow. He was 10,000 strong by himself. We don't, he was a guy who DMX was an artist that came and put gangster rap in a chokehold and created a unique sound. He showed us masculinity and humbleness at the same time. One of many other artists who I would say would be Big Pun, Ja Rule, Snoop, but Tupac, yeah. So the song was in the song "Who We Be," it's like he was basically telling his life story in every lyric. He touched a lot of people, and it feels. But DMX was a king, a legend, and literally the best to ever walk this planet. He was a soldier. God was heavily into his heart, and he healed so many people around the world. But DMX, like I said, some of his music has inspired me to stay strong during some hard times I went through, such as bullying. But one of the hardest rappers of all time. So he was literally one of the hardest and realest artists to ever do it. His voice carried his emotion so well I could feel his pain, especially those prayers on those X albums. Like, you literally felt his voice. You felt his music every time you heard his prayers. Like, he did 6 prayers. Those prayers I've heard. My favorite DMX prayer would be the third one on It's Dark, Not As Dark, and then there was X. He felt that. God made him pass the exam of this earth. DMX showed us the Big Bang Theory and opened our eyes. Earl Simmons or DMX, we will follow you and we will see you again. So, that is it. So, without further ado, DMX, we miss you. We are going to miss you. Rest in peace. DMX was 50 years old. My condolences go to the entire family and friends of DMX and all the artists that he worked with. Everyone on Rough Riders, such as Jadakiss, Eve, Styles, The Lox, Dragon, Swizz Beatz, Jay-Z, all the artists he ever worked around with. So, now, I'm going to close off right now. Next week, I'll be on 2 days a week next week. We have Monday is Nas, Illmatic, and next Tuesday is Redman and Method Man for 420, and to help accommodate their versus battle next Tuesday. Now, before I take off, I'm going to leave a little quote from DMX. I'm going to leave a few DMX quotes that he had left. These are some quotes about DMX, about life. It's the tough things that we go through, hard things that we go through, that get us to the point when we're better and stronger than we have ever been. Wrong, right, good, bad, heaven, hell. I think you have known both. You have to know in both in order to honestly choose one. So I'm familiar with both sides of the fence. You have to have humility. You have to be able to humble yourself and know where you got what you got, know where it came from. I'ma shine regardless. My steps have been ordained. My steps have already been written. The Lord has already written my steps out, so no one can do anything to stop it. And the last one is from the song Slippin'. Slippin' is one of my 3 favorite DMX records. Closing out with this quote. Slippin' is about self-motivation. So, the last quote, see, to live is to suffer, but to survive, well, that's to find meaning in the suffering. And without closing out, DMX, rest in peace. Thank you.